Hello everyone, welcome back and thanks for joining me for another Allan Holdsworth lesson video. Today I decided I wanted to do Atavachron. Now this is a song that I kind of had in the works for a while. I wanted to do a lesson on it because it's relatively simple, but because this was mostly played on the syntaxe, it's really hard to tell what some of the exact voicings are. It sounds pretty accurate to me, but there are places in the song where there might be an extra note that is added, another note that's actually part of the chord, not a completely unique note. And there's only really one good clip of this song. It's from the Frankfurt '86 DVD, and because Allan's syntax is malfunctioning a bit, there's not a lot of good shots of him playing it, so it's really hard to get down perfectly. So in any areas where I think it could be a little bit different, I'll mention that. But from what I'm playing, it sounds right, and at least you'll get an idea of the harmonic structure of the song. Allan also played the song on a regular tuned guitar, on a Steinberger. I saw on a Australia tour, I think in 1990. But this song, as simple as it may be structure-wise, could be pretty difficult on a regular standard guitar. And I'll talk about that why when we get into it. So anyway, let's just get down to it. Let's start Atavachron. Alright, so what makes this song particularly so tricky? Well, first it's the tone of the patch that Allan used, and also if he's using reverb. It's hard to hear if some of the notes are, or at least one particular note, is being rung out because of the reverb, and it's not intended to be played, or it's supposed to be there. Maybe Allan misses the note a couple of times. I'll mention that when we get to it. Also, like I said, this song was played on the syntaxe, and all the frets on the syntaxe are the same distance apart. They don't get smaller like on a regular guitar. They're all the same distance. I wish I knew the actual spec of it, but I think they're all about the size of the 7th fret or like the 5th fret all across the neck. Now, there are strengths to this. I mean, there's also weaknesses, but the big strength, and I think I read in an interview that the guy that designed it said he wanted to be able to play a regular bar chord up and down the neck easily. So what happens is playing up high on the neck can be very comfortable, but then adapting that to a standard guitar, now you get all the frets sort of smushed in and it's much harder, and that'll come into play through a couple of different sections of the song. So the chords themselves are relatively simple and easy. It's just where they're played on the guitar. Of course, you can change that however you want, or maybe I would suggest this song would be much easier to play if it was an octave down, if you just moved everything down an octave. But I'm going to try to show you again as how Allan played it, at least as accurate as possible. Like I said, there's not a lot of video of Allan performing this, so I had to really spend a lot of time trying to get what I think is the best, or at least most accurate way that he's playing it. And where I'm uncertain, of course, I'll just let you know and you can kind of go from there, or give me your suggestions. So this main part is probably the trickiest part of the song because there's so many chords, but this comes back for all the sort of A sections. There's only really 3 sections, just these sections, as A pedal, and then the solo section. Alright, so let's just get started. So the first is, we have this G major triad. Now this song is very much like Devil Take the Hindmost or Metal Fatigue, where almost the entire song is just major and minor triads, which is very unusual for an Allan tune. But this one, the actual voicings are much more traditional, so you'll see all of these before. It's not anything really revolutionary in terms of really cool voicing, sort of like the ones that we saw in Metal Fatigue. So it's G major to A major, and now right off the bat we get something where I'm not entirely sure what's going on. I hear a B flat major with the sharp 11 on top. I'm not sure if that sharp 11 is always being played, if it's just being rung out from the A major before, because sometimes I'll hear Allan play like that, and then it goes to C major. So I'm not entirely sure. I want to say because of the keyboard, the '86 Frankfurt DVD has the instruments as hard panned as much as possible, and it sounds like the keyboard is playing the sharp 11 or the D with the E, and I would imagine that's what's supposed to be going on. So I'm going to go out on a limb and just say anytime Allan plays and just the B flat, he might just be missing the the high E. But like I said, that's all speculated. I actually think it's meant to be played, and it sounds nicer with it. So G major, A major, B flat major with the add sharp 11, up to C major, and then again we go down to G major, but I can't really tell if it's this G major or if the D is being played on the bottom. I'm going to say, at least for this video, I'm going to put the D there just because it sounds a little bit fuller, but it's possible that he's not doing that. It's possible that it's just the regular 3-note version instead of this 4-note version, but it sort of makes sense with the fingering. So it goes to G major, and then back to A major again, and then B flat major with the add sharp 11. So we have something like this. And then it sort of goes to like a little minor section. It goes to B minor, to C sharp minor. And this is where it gets a little interesting, because this is where I said playing it on a standard guitar is harder than on the synthaxe, because then after this Allan goes to F sharp minor, to G sharp minor. And already my hand is sort of getting scrunched up in the front. And what's unusual about this is these minor triads could just be played over here on the top 3 strings, which actually is physically much easier. Like that. I don't know why he chose that. It's not that it's going to sound any different, because remember on the synthaxe you're using synth sounds, so no matter where you play a note, you're always going to have the same pitch, aside from like an analog guitar where the different notes you play on the different strings and parts of the neck are actually going to sound different. So that's really what makes it tricky to play the song. This minor section, it always goes up and it modulates higher, so you're going to have to go higher on the neck. So as I said, it might be easier to move those triads down a group of strings, or even just play the whole thing an octave lower. So anyway, I just want to talk about that, and then from the rest I'll just talk about the chords. So it's B minor to C sharp minor, to F sharp minor, to G sharp minor, and now oddly again, Allan plays another G sharp minor, but he plays it down here, which is the exact, it's the exact same chord, just it might be easier just to go from this G sharp minor to this one. But he plays G sharp minor, and then F sharp major, and then E major, with this B on the bottom. In the Frankfurt video, there's a very small section where there's a close-up on Allan's right hand, and it's during this section of the song, and you can see from his right hand the groups of strings that he's playing, which is why I got this fingering. And then for this last chord, you can see his thumb actually play the low E string, as I would never have picked that out because it's hard to really tell. So that's that main section. If you've got those little 2 sections down, all the other modulations are almost identical with slight variation, of course, because it is Allan. So then after that whole thing, it now modulates up a whole step from G to A major to B major to C major with the add sharp 11 to D major, back to A major, B major, to C major with the add sharp 11. Just like before, identically, just modulated up a whole step. Then we go to the minor section, C sharp minor to D sharp minor, and then of course it goes to G sharp minor and A sharp minor, but now it's harder to really play it up here, so it'll be easier to move that down like that. And then after that, it goes to another. Another B flat minor, and then G sharp major, and then G major, A major, B flat major, and then C major. So a little variation from what we just did before. And then it basically goes back to that G section again. G major, A major, B flat major with the add sharp 11, and then the minor part. But now a little different at the end. B minor, C sharp minor, F sharp minor, G sharp minor, G sharp minor again, F sharp major, and then F major. Little bit of a twist at the end. So that's the whole main sort of section, that part. If you've got that down, the rest of the parts will be easy because it's just little variations of that, so I'm just going to breeze right through them. So then after this comes the A pedal section, which I'll talk about here. So this is called the A pedal section because the bass is really just playing an A and the keyboards are playing an A. Actually, I think at least K, I'm not quite entirely sure how to say his name, but the keyboard player is playing an A, an E, and an F on the Frankfurt DVD as a sort of like a low bass there. So even though this is as an A pedal, it's really got an A minor sound, an Aeolian sound, which is part of C major. And what Allan's playing, he's playing this sort of this lick here that's in sixths, and it's all diatonic to A minor, C major, D Doran, however you want to think about this, but all while you have the bass playing A on the bottom. So the actual lick that Allan's playing goes like this. It's like I said, it's a sixth, but we got E and C, and then it goes to G and E like this, and then it goes to A and F. And what's interesting, if we put those last two parts together, we have that major 9 kind of voicing, just like we saw in Above and Below and sort of other Allan tunes. Not that frequent, but it does pop up from time to time. So it's that little motif, happens again, and then it goes to a C and an A, and then a B and a G. And then the motif again, G and E, to E and C, and then F and D, and then D and B. It repeats again, same exact way. And then at the end we have this little weird voice. We've got an E, F, and an A, just like I told you before that the keyboard was doing. But I would actually think of this as part of a D minor add 9 chord. That might be the best way to call it. Actually, I think at this point the bass does play a D. So I would treat this as a D minor add 9, even though the low D isn't being played. Allan's just playing the middle part of it, the meat of it. So then after that, it goes back to that A section again, with a different modulation. Instead of going from G to A, it goes from G to B flat. So let's talk about that here. Alright, so this section starts off the same as the beginning of the song, but then modulates to B flat. So same chords, G major, A major, B flat major with the add sharp 11, C major, G major, A major, B flat major with the add sharp 11, B minor, C sharp minor, F sharp minor, G sharp minor, G sharp minor, F sharp major, E major with the B in the bass. Then it moves up to B flat, and it's almost like that first section, but it's slightly different now. And you can see my hands are going to start getting more cramped because I'm playing up higher on the neck. B flat major, C major, D flat major with the add sharp 11, and then it ends on E flat major. Then it's those 3 chords again, B flat major, C major, D flat major with the add sharp 11. Then comes the minor section, D minor, E minor, A minor, B minor, B minor, G major, I'm sorry, A major, then G major with the E in the bass, with the D in the bass, then to A major with the E in the bass, and then we go to B major, and then we move this B and D sharp, and we move it to C sharp and F. And now I would consider this a sort of like the top part of a D flat major with an add 11 now on top. It's just Allan's not playing the 5th here. Then it goes back to the G section. G, A, B flat with the add sharp 11, and then all those minor chords again. B minor, C sharp minor, F sharp minor, G sharp minor, G sharp minor again, F sharp major, and then instead of going F like we did before, it goes to E major like before. So like I said, all these little twists and turns. I'll try to play that whole thing now without really screwing it up. I'm sure I will somewhere. flat part. Then from here it goes to this little A flat minor section into the solo. So let's do that now. So here's this little A flat minor riff, and then I'll talk about the solo in another section just to separate it. So it's really not anything crazy. It's this A flat octave thing, and then a quick little lick like that. So it starts on the flat 7, root 9, flat 7, back to the root. And then the root octave, flat 7, and then the minor third. And then it repeats the same way, except the last note is different. Then it plays the 4 here. Then it just repeats again. Then it's time for the solo. Solo's kind of interesting for an Allan song, but once again, we're just worrying about major and minor triads, so relatively simple for us regular guitar players. Alright, so the solo section here is kind of interesting for Allan's playing because there's sort of a pattern to this. Allan's playing diatonically inside of a key, inside of a tonal center. And then he's got 4 different tonal centers, and then once that repeats, the first one's the same, but then the last 3 tonal centers are now shifted up a half step. So the tonal centers are as follows. It goes from D flat to D to E to F sharp major. Then when it repeats again, it goes from D flat, but now E flat, F, and then G. So those are all of your major keys in there, and Allan's probably thinking Dorian for each one of them. I'm not going to do that off the top of my head, but of course you can write it out and figure it out. But now within that tonal center, Allan's playing within a certain degree pattern. He's doing 6, 5, 4, then he's doing 5, 4, 3. And then once he goes to the third tonal center, he goes back to 6, 5, 4, and then for the last one he just plays the 5 and 4. So it sounds like a bunch of gobbledygook, but I'll play through it, and then after I play through it, I'll talk about all the different chords and things that were happening here. So B flat minor, A flat major, G flat major, A major, G major, F sharp minor, C sharp minor, B major, A major, C sharp major to B major. That's the first half. Second half repeats the same way. At least it starts off the same way. B flat minor, A flat major, G flat major. Now here's the modulation. Instead of A major, we go to B flat major, A flat major, G minor, D minor, C major, B flat major, D major, and then C major, but instead of playing the same C major, I think Allan plays C major like this, with the C major triad here, and G in the bass. And then from there it goes to the 8 pedal section. And just repeats again to the end, and then it goes into the second section. So what's going on here? So I'll talk about it again. B flat minor, A flat major, G flat major is our 6, 5, 4 of D flat major. Then it goes to A major, G major, F sharp minor, which is our 5, 4, 3 chords of D major, C sharp minor, B major, A major, 6, 5, 4 of E major, and then C major, C sharp major to B major, which is our 5, 4 of F major, F sharp major. Then it repeats the same way, but like I said, those last 3 sections are modulated up a half step. So 6, 5, 4 in D flat major, But now we're modulating up a half step, so now we go to B flat major, A flat major, G minor, which is our 5-4-3 of E flat major. This next section here, D minor to C major to B flat major, is our 6-5-4 of F major, and then finally our 5 chord of G major and 4 chord of G major, and then back to the A pedal section. So then that A pedal section, like I said, repeats the same way, and then we go into that first half G major section, and we only do it once because then comes the next solo. So I'll just talk about all the little differences in the song, because at this point you know everything. Then here it's just all these little variations from that, so I'll talk about that in this next section. So after the solo section, we go back to the part that we played in the beginning of the song, which is identical except for the last chord. The last chord we played in that first A section is F major, and on this time it's now E major. So I'll just play through it, and I'll just talk about that last chord when we get to it. So it starts off the same way with that G major triad. Goes to A major. E major. Then once again it goes back to the A flat little pedal part. And then the solo, which is the solo harmonies identical to the first time that we played it, with all the same harmonies. Just playing through it a little fast. The modulation. A pedal section. And then it comes to the last part of the song, which is like that modulation when we did from G to B flat. I think it's identical. Just trying listening to it in my head. Yeah, I don't think there's any difference there. It's exactly like what we played before. So the G section. And it goes to B flat major. G part. And then, to finish the song, back to the A flat pedal part. This time it just ends on the minor third. That's it. So, as I said, the song, a lot of chords in it, but the concepts are the same. So once you get those concepts, you can kind of think about them as larger sections instead of, you know, G going to A to going to B flat, that kind of thing. You just sort of know how it goes and just know how it changes. Like I said, it gets trickier when you get to play it high up on the neck, so it might be easier to just, instead of playing like, you know, playing it up here, you can go like a, how do I do it? You know, I'm trying to figure it out. You know, something like that. So you can just move it down an octave if you want to at least play to it to make it a bit easier. But I'm going to leave that up to you because my job is at least to show you how Allan's playing, because maybe it'll give you an idea about how he thinks of harmony, how he thinks of chords and stuff. I always find that playing something the same way that someone else is playing it gives me an understanding of their insight when it comes to writing and maybe getting an idea. That doesn't mean you have to play it that way. Might just give you, oh, I would not have thought about moving that here, like especially like moving that chord, that minor chord, and then moving it down here. It seems very strange to me, but maybe that's just something Allan was experimenting with. I have no idea, but it's interesting. Anyway, so that's Atavachron. I think I have one song left that I want to do, and then that's it. I can't really think. There are other songs that I might want to do, but I'm not entirely sure about them. I'd have to really be in the mood. But these are all the songs that I really wanted to cover. So I appreciate you taking the time to come with me on this crazy journey. Maybe you've learned something pretty cool. Now I'm just blabbering. So anyway, thank you. I'll see you guys next time.